Best-selling young adult novel is now a major motion picture about finding yourself and falling in love, even when it's complicated. Last month, 20th Century Fox announced a Powered by Love tour in which fans voted to have the cast visit their state. And fans here rose to the occasion to make Seattle one of the 5 stops. So please welcome 2 of the stars, Seattle native Nick Robinson and Alexandra Shipp, plus director Greg Berlanti. Come on out.
So good to see you again. I'm so great. I know.
Alexandra, it's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Welcome. Have a seat, guys. How old are you now? Am I allowed to ask?
Of course, 22.
22, the ripe old age of 22.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the director. Greg, tell us a bit about this story. Just set it up.
It's a love story. It's about a young man who's hiding in the closet. He's in high school, and there's another young man who's anonymous who writes on the school website that he's gay, and they start a correspondence. And so it's his coming of age. It's Simon's coming of age while trying to also figure out who this other person might be that he's writing these letters with, while dealing with his family and his friends around him. Okay, so you play Simon, obviously.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about Simon as a person.
I think Simon is someone who, well, like Greg said, it's a coming-of-age story, and Simon is somebody who is constantly in fear of someone finding out that he is gay. So he's constantly trying to kind of suppress his personality, I think. And
that makes my heart hurt.
Well, but at the end it turns out to be a positive thing, and he's able to sort of come out on his terms, and it's sort of a story of acceptance. And yeah, and then Simon has a group of friends, played by Alex Shipp.
Alexandra, you're new to the school in the movie, right?
Yes.
But what is your relationship with Simon?
My relationship with Simon is that we're just really good friends, and actually I am the first person that he comes out to. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a really beautiful relationship between them because unlike his other friends who he's grown up with and gone to school with for many years, and they have this preconceived idea of who he is just because they've known him for so long. Right. My character, Abby, comes into it, and she sees him exactly where he's at in that moment, and I think that there's less for him to live up to when it comes to
That's an advantage, right? She sees him with fresh eyes, so he doesn't have to change her perception.
Yeah, he can be whoever he wants, because she's like, okay, that's him.
Interesting thought. Let's take a look at a clip.
I'm just like you. For the most part, my life is totally normal. My dad was the annoyingly handsome quarterback who married the hot valedictorian. And no, they didn't peak in high school. I have a sister I actually like, not that I'd ever tell her that. And last year, in 200 episodes of Chopped ago, she decided she wanted to be a chef. And then there's my friends. 2 of them I've known since pretty much the beginning of time, or at least kindergarten. One of them I just met a few months ago, but it feels like I've known her forever. We do everything friends do. We drink way too much iced coffee, watch bad 90s movies, and hang out at Waffle House dreaming of college and gorging on carbs. So, like I said, I'm just like you. I have a totally, perfectly normal life. Except I have one huge-ass secret.
Oh, there it is. So how did this story resonate with all of you personally? I mean, when you read this script and wanted to do this, what were you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking about a lot of different things. My first interaction with the script was actually through Greg. He was kind of the one who championed this project, and I was struck by the potential of this and just being able to tell a story that hasn't quite been told before in this context, and especially with sort of like a studio film that's kind of meant for a wide audience. So I thought it had the potential to be just like a helpful movie, I guess you could say. So
I think it can be, and Call Me By Your Name has kind of opened a door for people to say, yeah, there are great films that we need to see about the experience of gay people coming to age, you know, doing all of the things that people do. Was that part of what appealed to you?
Yeah, I would say mine was twofold. One was I grew up in the 80s and saw all the John Hughes movies, and I always had to sort of do this arithmetic to imagine, well, maybe that tertiary character is gay. I was a closeted gay kid myself, and when I read the script, I was kind of shocked that a major studio hadn't done a film like this with a gay teen protagonist at the center. And it's a romantic comedy. It's not an art house film. It's big, broad. It's for everyone. It's got a lot of comedy. But it had this point of view that reflected my own experience, and it was so visceral for me that I really wanted to make sure that other kids got to have that experience too. We hope that it has that kind of impact.
That's hugely important what you just said. The idea of whoever you are, seeing yourself portrayed in your culture and not being a sideline character or the one who's going to die because they're the best friend of the hero, you know, but actually the protagonist of the story.
It makes movie going more emotional because you're not having to cipher stuff through your brain. You can just, you see yourself there and you can experience it. And I think that's real visceral for any person who feels marginalized.
Right. And the other side of that is that everybody else gets to learn what it's like to look through your prism, and that's important as well. What appealed to you about this movie?
Well, for me, I had when I was younger, I went to an art school, and so I grew up around a lot of LGBTQ in the community and also in my family. And for me, I saw this script and I was like, wow, this is going to save so many lives because it's going to let people know that they're not alone out there. And anything that has that type of integrity value is something that I just have to be a part of.
And maybe especially for people at the age of Simon, because
totally
it's complicated. I don't know any grown-up who says, yeah, let me be 14, 15 again. You know, even if it was great, you know, relatively great, it's so hard. And then, yeah, exactly. But that complicated part where you're trying to figure out who you are, how you relate to somebody else, first love, all of that is dagger to the heart.
The worst.
It is the worst. Sorry if there are kids watching. It gets better. Everything gets better after that. So are you pleased with the final? Who wrote this script, by the way? Because I love that the mom was the hot valedictorian, not the hot cheerleader.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a victory.
Isaac Aptheker and Elizabeth Berger are the showrun the TV show This Is Us. So if you, and this has all the same qualities in that regard. It makes you laugh and cry. And
everybody loves that so much. They've produced a number of things, haven't they, that we've loved?
Yeah, they're younger, so they've been on a few different shows, but they're still pretty they're pretty young to be even accomplish the things that they've accomplished.
This is so cool. Well, we thank you very much. I'm glad you came back to Seattle. Are you guys excited that this is kind of cool, interactively, that the fans got to choose where you go?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I know, I'm just thrilled to be back. Thanks for voting. That's
It's-
like, makes me feel good.
Yeah, it's cool to be in your hometown and sharing it with them.
Speaking of Nick's hometown, I think we have a few photos
Oh,
of
good.
younger Nick. Not the you were here back when I had a lot more hair, and you were look at you. There's baby Nick.
I like the Bieber haircut.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Not much has changed.
are
clearly.
you appropriately embarrassed?
Appropriately,
Okay,
yes.
good. All right, excellent. Thank you all for joining us. We really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Love, Simon opens in theaters on March 16th. Nick, Alexandra, and Greg will be at a special meet and greet this afternoon at 3 at Victrola, that's correct, Coffee Roasters on Capitol Hill. And tonight at 7, you can attend an advanced screening with them at Pacific Place, which is the bomb. We have all of this and ticket links on our website. After the break, why March is an extra special time to book a Hawaiian vacation. Let's all go right after this. Thank you.
Thank you. So nice to see you, too.
Thank you.